This video is part 2 of limit state of collapse for flexure. In this session, we will discuss singly reinforced beam. What is singly reinforced beam? The beam that is longitudinal reinforced only in the tension zone is known as singly reinforced beam. In such beams, the ultimate bending moment and the tension due to bending are carried by the reinforcement while the compression is carried by the concrete. Let us take an example to understand the same. Here we have a cantilever beam with a rectangular cross section where we have the width of beam as B and the depth of beam as D. This beam is subjected to an ultimate load F acting at the free end of the beam. Under the action of this load, we are going to get maximum moment at the support. As it is evident from the strain distribution diagram, we are going to get tensile strain above neutral axis while compression strain below neutral axis. With maximum tensile strain acting at the top fiber, let us denote this as epsilon st, and maximum compression strain acting at the bottom fiber, which is epsilon c. Now since we have maximum tensile strain being at the top fiber, we will be providing our main reinforcement at the tension zone of the concrete close to the top fiber in order to resist the tensile stress which is coming as a result of maximum tensile strain. This reinforcement is provided at an effective depth D from the bottom compressive fiber to the centroid of the reinforcement. If we know the clear cover to the reinforcement, if this is the clear cover which is just touching the reinforcement, is denoted by C. So this C is your clear cover to reinforcement, and if the diameter of the bar used is phi, your effective depth will be D equal overall depth of the beam minus clear cover minus diameter of the bar by 2. So this is your effective depth. Near support, if we cut a section, here we have an ultimate moment mu acting at this section. Let us consider the neutral axis depth as xu. At limit state of collapse, this beam under the action of ultimate load will be in its limit of failure. So at extreme fiber in the compression zone of concrete, the strain will be 0.0035. While let us consider the strain in steel reinforcement as epsilon st. As per assumption on the limit state of collapse for concrete, the tensile strength is ignored. The stress block of concrete for the compression zone is drawn here. The resultant compressive force C is acting at the centroid of the stress block, while the tensile force T will act at the centroid of reinforcement. As can be seen that this C and T are forming a clockwise couple. The distance between these two forces is called lever arm. Let us denote this by Z. This clockwise couple is resisting the ultimate moment mu due to load at this section. C is the product of average compressive stress and concrete area in the compression. In the part 1 video on the limit state of collapse, for flexure we had derived average compressive stress as 0.36 times characteristic strength of concrete FCK and its location as 0.42 XU from the extreme compression fiber. Lever arm Z will be the difference between effective depth D and 0.42 times neutral axis depth XU. If we consider the area of reinforcement as AST, the tensile force will be the product of stress in steel reinforcement FST and area of steel AST. Stress in steel can be calculated if we know the strain in steel. That is, if we know epsilon st, we'll be able to know what is my corresponding stress in steel. To compute neutral axis depth, equilibrium requirement gives C equals T. If we solve this, we get an equation for determining neutral axis depth for singly reinforced section. So, now you know what is singly reinforced section. In the previous example, the tension reinforcement was provided at top as tension due to bending was on top fiber. Here, we will again consider a singly reinforced section example, but now with tension reinforcement provided at bottom. In simply supported beam, under the action of loads, bending develops tension in the bottom fiber. So, tension reinforcement has to be provided in the bottom. Here, we have a rectangular section with width of beam as B, depth as D, and effective depth as D. At limit state of collapse, the strain on concrete will reach its ultimate value of 0.0035. Corresponding to strain distribution with XU, that is neutral axis depth, which is measured from extreme compression fiber, this stress block has been plotted for concrete. The resultant compression on concrete C will act at a distance of 0.42 XU from the top fiber. Here C, that is the compression force, will be product of average compressive stress in concrete and area of concrete in compression. What will be the average compressive stress? It is 0.36 FCK. FCK is the characteristic strength of concrete. And the area of concrete is the shaded portion, which you can see it is B times neutral axis depth XU. This area is in compression. So C equals 0.36 FCK BXU. Okay. The tension force T that is acting here at the centroid of reinforcement will be FST into AST. Now this FST is the stress corresponding to the strain EST, which is at the level of reinforcement in the tension zone. Here C and T is going to form a couple to resist the applied movement in a beam at any given section. This both force is separated by a lever arm Z, which equals D minus 0.42 XU. To find neutral axis depth from equilibrium, C equals T, that is 0.36 FCKB XU equals FST into AST. So from here we get the expression for neutral axis depth factor. We can compute the moment of resistance of beam, which we can say as ultimate moment of resistance MUR, and this equals C into lever arm or T into lever arm. So accordingly we can get the formula for moment of resistance. Maximum depth of neutral axis. The maximum depth of neutral axis is limited to ensure that tensile steel will reach its yield stress before concrete fails in compression. Thus, a brittle failure can be avoided. Maximum depth of neutral axis is also called as limiting neutral axis depth. The reinforcing steel can sustain very high tensile strains due to the ductile behavior of steel following yielding. The ultimate strain can be in the range of 0.12 to 0.20. However, the concrete can accommodate compressive strains which are much lower in comparison. The ultimate compressive strain as per IS 456 recommendation is 0.0035 for flexural members. The final collapse of a normal beam at the ultimate limit state is caused inevitably by the crushing of concrete in compression, regardless of whether the tension steel has yielded or not. If steel reinforcement yields, the onset of failure will be gradual, that is, giving ample prior warning of the impending collapse by way of increased curvatures, deflections, and cracking. Consider a singly reinforced section in which the reinforcement has been provided at the bottom. Now, this section is subjected to ultimate load. Under the action of ultimate load, the strain distribution diagram of the section has been made. So, this is my strain distribution. At limit state of collapse, my maximum strain in concrete will be 0.0035. If we want to restrict maximum neutral axis depth, the strain in steel will be the yield strain. In the previous video, we had seen what will be the value of yield strain as per IS recommendation. This yield strain as per IS recommendation is 0.87 Fy by Young's modulus of elasticity of steel plus 0.002. Okay, corresponding to the strain in steel when it reaches its yield strain, we will say that this neutral axis depth as maximum. Sometimes this maximum neutral axis depth is also called as XU, that is limiting neutral axis depth. Please note here the strain in concrete equal to 0.0035, which is the ultimate strain in concrete. So the strain in concrete has reached its ultimate state. Here also the strain in steel has reached the yield strain. So what you can observe that the strain in concrete has reached its ultimate values and strain in steel has reached the yield strain simultaneously. Under this case, if we have strain in concrete equal to ultimate strain in concrete, that is 0.0035, and strain in steel equal to the yield strain value 0.87 Fy by Es plus 0.002. If we have this both condition reached simultaneously, then the section is called a balanced section. So what is balanced section? A section in which the strain in concrete reaches its ultimate value and strain in steel reach yield strain simultaneously. Okay, or you can say a section corresponding to limiting neutral axis is a balanced section. So we know when we can have balanced section when strain in steel is reaching its yield strain. and even concrete is reaching its ultimate strain value. Then we get the maximum neutral axis depth or limiting neutral axis depth. So corresponding to this, we will be having a balanced section. Let us see an expression for the balanced neutral axis depth or the maximum neutral axis depth, XUmax. Let me mark these two triangles. So we have O, A, B, and this bottom triangle is OP. Now this both triangle is similar. So we can write 0.87 Fy by ES plus 0.002 divided by this distance OQ. So OQ is how much? So it is, please see, this is D because the strain is measured at the level of steel. So we have effective term D minus XU max. So this becomes D minus XU max. So this equals how much? 0.0035 divided by XU max. So this will be 0.0035 by XU max. Young's modulus of elasticity of steel will be considered as per IS 456 recommendation as 2 into 10 to the power 5 Newton per mm square. Alright. If we substitute the value of ES in this expression and do some manipulation of the expression, we get 0.87 Fy plus 400 divided by 700 equal to D minus XU max by XU max. Further simplifying this, you will be having the expression like 0.87 Fy plus 400 by 700 equal to D by XU max minus 1, or you'll get the expression as D by XU max equals 1100 plus 0.87 Fy by 700. This expression you can note, we can have a relationship of XU max by D equal to 700 divided by 1100 plus 0.87 Fy. So this is the expression for maximum neutral axis depth. Please note, since we had given the input value of modulus of elasticity unit as Newton per mm square, unit of Fy should be in Newton per mm square. Now we will calculate limiting value of neutral axis for different grade of steel. If we see the formula for the maximum neutral axis depth, we can see that this limiting value of neutral axis does not depend on grade of concrete, but yes, it does depend on grade of steel. For example, if we consider Fe415 steel, here the yield stress of steel will be 415 Newton per mm square, which can be substituted in Fy to get the value of maximum neutral axis depth divided by effective depth as 0.48. Similarly, we can get this value of neutral axis depth by D for Fe250 steel as 0.53. What we have to do? For Fe250 steel, the yield stress of the steel is 250 Newton per mm square. Now this 250 Newton per mm square can be substituted in this equation for Fy. Now we can get Fe500 steel neutral axis depth xu max by d as 0.46. Now this value 0.53, 0.48, 0.46 can be found in page number 70 under note for IS 456 2000. So so it's good that if you remember these value for these three steel. However, if in case some different grade of steel is given, you can easily compute the limiting value of neutral axis as per this formula. So kindly mark this formula so that you can compute different limiting value of neutral axis depth depending on grade of steel. Balance section. A balance section is one in which the area of tension steel is such that at the ultimate limit state, the two limiting conditions are reached simultaneously. That is, the compressive strain in the extreme fiber of the concrete reaches the ultimate strain epsilon Cu, which is equal to 0.0035 as per recommendation of IS 456 2000 for flexural member, and the tensile strain at the level of the centroid of the steel reaches the yield strain epsilon y. The failure of such section is termed as balanced failure and is expected to occur by the simultaneous initiation of crushing of concrete and yielding of steel. Here, the neutral axis depth with respect to a balanced section is equal to the maximum neutral axis depth or limiting depth of neutral axis. Under reinforced section. An under reinforced section is one in which the area of tension steel is such that as the ultimate limit state approaches, yield strain is reached in steel before the ultimate compressive strain is reached in the extreme fiber of the concrete. When the reinforcement strain reaches the yield strain, the corresponding maximum concrete strain is generally less than epsilon Cu, that is ultimate strain in concrete. However, with slight increase in the load will cause the steel to yield and elongate significantly without any significant increase in stress. The marked increase in tensile strain causes the neutral axis to shift upwards, thus tending to reduce the area of concrete under compression. As the total tension T remains essentially constant, the compressive strain have to increase in order to maintain equilibrium. An under reinforced section has a characteristic to show wider and deeper tensile crack with increased beam curvatures and deflection due to relatively rapid increase in tensile strain. This process will continue until the maximum strain in concrete reaches the ultimate compressive strain of concrete epsilon Cu, which results in the crushing of concrete in the limited compression zone. Over-reinforced section. An over-reinforced section is one in which the area of tension steel is such that at the ultimate limit state, the ultimate compressive strain in concrete is reached. However, the tensile strain in the reinforcing steel is less than the yield strain. The concrete thus fail in compression before the steel reaches its yield point. Hence, this type of failure is termed compression failure. The failure often occurs without warning. In this case, the tension steel remains in elastic range up to collapse. As the limit state of collapse is approached, the tensile stress in steel increases proportionally with the tensile strain, whereas the compressive stress in concrete does not increase proportionately with the compressive strain because it is in the nonlinear range. Hence, in order to maintain equilibrium, compression equal to tension, the area of concrete under compression has to increase. This is enabled by lowering of the neutral axis. The strain across the section remains relatively low. Because the failure is sudden without any sign of warning and the deflection and curvature remains low right up to failure, this type of failure is termed as brittle failure. For this reason, over-reinforced flexural members are not permitted in the code. Here you can see this neutral axis depth comparison. What we can see, for under reinforced section, the neutral axis depth is less than the neutral axis depth of balanced section, or XU is less than XU max. For over reinforced section, the neutral axis depth XU is greater than XU max. For the given section with steel reinforcement, if grade of steel is known, the balanced neutral axis depth or XU max can be computed. Now, neutral axis depth can be calculated by computing compression equal to tension. Using that, the neutral axis depth can be evaluated. Now, this neutral axis depth can be compared with the maximum neutral axis depth in order to see whether the section is going to be a balanced section, under reinforced section, or over reinforced section. If XU is equal to XU max, the section is called balanced section. If XU is less than XU max, the section will be under reinforced section. If XU is greater than XU max, then the section is over reinforced section. The flexural strength of reinforced concrete section is also known as moment carrying capacity of the section. This moment carrying capacity of this section is also called as moment of resistance. We will be computing the moment of resistance for a singly reinforced rectangular section. So the first case which we are going to consider is if the singly reinforced section is a balanced section. For a singly reinforced section to have a condition of a balanced section, we have that strain in concrete should be equal to the ultimate strain in concrete, while strain in steel will reach the yield strain. So both value will reach simultaneously. The neutral axis depth will be equal to what? The limiting neutral axis depth or the maximum neutral axis depth. Under the action of the load, the strain in steel is equal to the yield strain. So the stress in steel will correspond to the yield stress. If I want to find out the design stress in steel, FST will be how much? Yield stress in steel divided by partial factor of safety, 1.15. Okay, so we know from limit state method that the design stress or design strength of steel will be equal to what? Yield stress of steel divided by partial factor of safety of steel. So this becomes 0.87 Fy. Now here we have the stress block diagram where you can see the resultant compressive force is acting at the centroid of the stress block, while the tensile force is acting at the CG of the steel. Once I know the design stress in steel, I can compute the tension force that is acting on the reinforcement. So tension force is stress into area, design stress is 0.87 Fy into Ht. So this is the tension force. Let us see the compression force. Now what is compression force? Compression force is average stress of the stress block into area of concrete in compression. So this area of concrete is in compression, that is B into XU max, and we know average stress is how much? It is 0.36 FCK. So the compressive force is 0.36 FCK into B into XU. Well, as you can see, this two forces is forming a couple. Now this couple is the moment carrying capacity or moment of resistance of this rectangular section. Now the moment of resistance corresponding to the balance section will be referred as mu lim. Now what will be mu lim? It can be either C into lever arm. The distance between C and T is the lever arm. Let us say that this is Z. So this distance is Z, which is lever arm. Mu lim can be C into Z or it can be T into Z. Let us take compressive force into account and compute some standard formula for different grades of steel. So what is lever arm? This Z. Z is, if you see from the stress block, I know this resultant compressive force acts at a distance of 0.42 times neutral axis depth. Now the neutral axis depth here is xu max. So let me write down xu max, that is limiting neutral axis depth. So from the diagram, Z will be d minus 0.42 xu max. D minus 0.42 xu max. So what will be mu lim? Limiting moment of resistance, that is moment of resistance for a balanced section. C is 0.36 FCK B xu max into D minus 0.42 xu max. Now we'll simplify this. My mu lim will be 0.36 FCK B D square xu max by D into 1 minus 0.42 xu max by D. So what I have done, I have taken D outside. Okay. Now this is the formula for mu lim. Here in page number 70 of IS 456-2000, for different grade of steel, the value of xu max by D has been defined. Now what we can do, we can substitute these values of xu max by D for different grade of steel to get formula for limiting moment of resistance. Also, if you come to page number 96, which is annexure G, which gives you the formula for moment of resistance for rectangular section also. So here also you can see the formula for mu lim. So this formula we have derived. As I said, we can compute moment of resistance for different grade of steel. So first for Fe250 steel. For Fe250 steel, I want to compute what is mu lim. So for Fe250 steel, mu lim equal to 0.36 FCK BD square. In case of Fe250 steel, what is xu max by D? It is 0.53. 1 minus 0.42 into, now again xu max by D, it is 0.53. So this turns out to be 0.148 FCK BD square. So you can remember what is the limiting moment of resistance for Fe250 steel. It is 0.148 FCK BD square. Similarly, for Fe415 steel, mu lim equal to, again we are going to substitute in this formula. It will be 0.36 FCK BD square into, what is xu max by D for Fe415 steel? It is 0.48 into 1 minus 0.42 into xu max by D, and xu max by D is 0.48. So we get mu lim equal to 0.138 FCK BD square. So for Fe415 steel, the limiting moment of resistance is 0.138 FCK BD square. Lastly, for Fe500 steel, what will be the limiting moment of resistance. Again, we will do this calculation. 0.36 FCK BD square into XU max by D for FE 500, it is 0.46 into 1 minus 0.42 into 0.46. If you do the computation, you are going to get this as 0.1384 FCK BD square. For Fe 500 steel, the limiting moment of resistance is 0.134 FCK BD square. So what we have done, we have calculated the moment of resistance for a balanced section. For balanced section, we represent the moment of resistance as the limiting moment of resistance, and what we have done, we have derived a relationship of mu lim for different grade of steel. Now we are going to compute the moment of resistance for an under reinforced section. For this, we are going to again take a singly reinforced rectangular section. Now for an under reinforced section, the neutral axis depth is XU. The strain in concrete will reach the ultimate strain, because when the member is going to fail, the failure will be due to the compression failure of concrete. So when concrete is failing first, it means that the strain in concrete has reached the ultimate strain value. Regarding steel, the steel will have strain greater than or equal to the yield strain. It means that the steel has started yielding. So again here, if I want to know what is the tension force that is going to act on the steel, it will be 0.87 FY/AST, and the reason is the steel is yielding, so the tension force will be 0.87 FY/AST. Here we have the stress block diagram. So again, if I talk about compressive force, my compressive force here, it will be average stress 0.36 FCK into area of concrete. Area of concrete is how much? B into XU. BXU. Now this two forces, horizontal forces, is in equilibrium. It means C equal to T. Now from here, what we can do, we can compute the neutral axis depth. If I equate C and T, we get 0.36 FCK BXU equal to 0.87 Fy. If I divide by D on both sides, ultimately what you are going to get, XU by D equal to 0.87 Fy AST divided by 0.36 FCK BD. So this is the formula you have to compute the neutral axis depth. This formula you can see in annexure G of IS 456. So you can open page number 96. Page number 96, here you can see rectangular section without compression reinforcement. It means it's a singly reinforced section. The reinforcement has been provided in the tension side. So here what you can see, determine the depth of neutral axis from the following equation. XU by D equal to 0.87 FY/AST divided by 0.36 FCK BD. So this formula, whatever we have derived now, is given in annexure G, and you have to turn page number 96. So you're going to get the neutral axis depth formula. Now moment of resistance, MU. So either I can use C into lever arm or T into lever arm. Compressive force into lever arm, tension force in the lever arm. Compressive force, the compressive force we are getting from concrete, and the tension force we are getting from steel. Now lever arm, so lever arm you can compute as we had done earlier. Z will be how much? D minus 0.42 XU. Now let us compute moment of resistance. So mu equal to, let me consider the tension force. The tension force is 0.87 Fy AST into D minus 0.42 XU. Or what you can do, mu equal to 0.87 Fy AST. Take d outside, it becomes 1 minus 0.42 xu by. Now mu will be 0.87 Fy AST into d 1 minus 0.42 into xu by d. Now here we have already computed xu by d. So this xu by d I'll substitute. It will be 0.87 Fy AST divided by 0.36 FCK. Okay. So finally you get mu equal to 0.87 Fy AST d into 1 minus AST into Fy by BD into, so this is the moment of resistance of a rectangular section which is under reinforced. This formula again you can see in annexure G, turn page number 96. Here you can see the formula for under reinforced section. Now here you can see if the value of xu d is less than the limiting value, it means your xu is less than xu max. If xu is less than xu max, it means under reinforced section. For under reinforced section, here is the expression which has been given to compute the moment of resistance, and same expression we have derived over here, moment of resistance for an under reinforced section. Let us now summarize important points on singly reinforced section and formula so that it can help us to solve problems on singly reinforced section. Summary. In a singly reinforced section, tension reinforcement is only provided. Okay? Second point, for a balanced section, neutral axis depth is equal to maximum neutral axis depth or limiting neutral axis depth. Third important point, depending upon grade of steel, neutral axis depth, that is limiting or maximum, can be calculated by xu max by d equal to 700 divided by 1100 plus 0.87 Fy. So using this formula, depending upon grade of steel, the limiting neutral axis depth can be calculated. Fourth, if xu neutral axis depth is equal to limiting neutral axis depth, then the section will be balanced, and if xu is less than xu max, then the section is under reinforced, and if xu is greater than xu max, then section is over reinforced. For balanced and under reinforced section, design stress in steel or design strength in steel is 0.87. So your tension force becomes Fst into Ast, which is 0.87 Fy. Regarding compressive force, C, this is average compressive stress into concrete area in compression. Here average compressive stress in concrete is taken as 0.36 FCK. Yeah. If section is rectangular section, area of concrete in compression is B into neutral axis depth. Sixth point, for under reinforced section, xu by d equal to 0.87 Fy Ast divided by 0.36 FCK BD. Moment of resistance for under reinforced section, moment of resistance can be given as C into lever arm or T into lever arm. C is the compressive force in concrete, resultant compressive force in concrete. T is the tensile force in centroid of the reinforcement. Here Z is lever arm, the Z is effective depth D minus 0.42 times the neutral axis depth.